Alright, what's up guys? Saturday morning, more NBA free agency news. So, yeah, given the fact that after midnight on Friday there was a bunch of signings, we did a couple clips yesterday for the YouTube channel and on Facebook Live. Go check those out because we've covered, I'd say, about 70% of the signings so far. So I'm here to bring you another 20%, and then the biggest names will probably move next week. Again, no word on Kevin Durant yet. There was the story that was leaked that was Kevin Durant was blown away by the Clippers' performance, although it seemed very quick that his meeting, amongst other meetings, are simply being leaked by the teams, not the player. So don't get on the hype train too quickly for KD. Still a lot of meetings to be had, and still a major decision along the way. But as for the names that have moved, Dwight Howard, probably the biggest name moved after we shot yesterday. Dwight Howard was signed by the Hawks for around $70 million over 3 years. The Hawks also handed out roughly a similar contract to Kent Bazemore. So Howard and Bazemore make up about $140 million over the next 3 years for that Hawks team. I think the Bazemore signing is way too much money. I think that's an obvious call, but I think the Howard one is probably right about on point when it comes to how much money is going out. So let's actually discuss some of the money that's been going out in general. Rachel Nichols tweeted out, you got to remember that 51% goes to the owners, 49% goes to the players. So people are, who are outraged at how much money some of these players get. Again, as we said yesterday, these players deserve to make their money. These players should get paid if there's that much money coming in. They signed a $24 billion TV deal. That's how much money the NBA is getting from the new TNT deal, right? Therefore, $24 billion, it is better being split amongst a lot of the players in the league for about 49% of that than 100% going to the owners. So guys like Kent Bazemore getting paid are getting overpaid, yes, but is it better that he's getting overpaid rather than some of the owners are getting even more money lining their pockets? Also yes. So it's a two-way street. But back to the point is Dwight Howard I think Hawks is actually a fine destination for Dwight Howard. I think it takes him out of the. I think it was great once he left the LA bubble, which again harped on way too much for just a bad experiment for about a year and a half. And of course the Rockets bubble, where he faced some injuries, and they also made the Western Conference Finals. So you can even consider Dwight Howard successful at the Rockets. Again, a lot of that is going to fall on James Harden for carrying a lot of that team when Howard was injured. But when Howard played through those playoffs 2 years ago, with all the injuries, the back spasms, the knees, all those problems, I think he was still dropping 20 and 10 a night. So, or at least close to it. Why the Hawks make a good fit for Dwight Howard? Paul Millsap, if he stays, there's rumors that he might be traded to the Suns, but if Paul Millsap stays, that would make the best power forward complement to that Dwight Howard's ever had. It's almost always been the answer to Dwight Howard, or the game plan for Dwight Howard in the offense is, well, Dwight Howard's down in the post, we're going to let him use his size, his strength, his versatility, his agility inside the low post on the block and let him dominate, right? Well, with someone like Paul Millsap, it actually would help complement Dwight Howard's game and give a high IQ player alongside Howard the opportunity to really create mismatches on the defensive end of the floor, because you need two great interior defenders to stop a Dwight Howard-Paul Millsap combo. So that's something to keep an eye on, at least for next season, unless Paul Millsap gets traded. But as for now, it looks like Millsap will be staying. But it means, what about the other? I mean, the Hawks have a whole rotation, or at least over the last 2 years, of all-stars that are on the move. So Al Horford is likely gone. According to Hoops rumors this morning, the Celtics and the Wizards are the frontrunners, and he's looking for about 4 years, $113 million. The biggest and most important stat about Al Horford I think I can throw at you: 82 games played last season. He doesn't really get injured all that often. He's durable, and he's reliable. So Al Horford, I think, would be a great Celtic. I also think he'd be a great Wizard. I think that would change the entire angle that the Wizards have taken on, or people are taking on the Wizards already going into next season. You sign someone like Al Horford, you can definitely bring in some other, mid-tier free agents. You can also make trades. Obviously, you had your draft. So I think Al Horford to the Celtics means he contends immediately for an Eastern Conference Finals and and getting to the NBA Finals. I'm not sure how much they can stack up against the West, though. And I think if he goes to the Wizards, it absolutely makes the Wizards that much better, but not like a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, or maybe even top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. The Celtics could be a top 4 seed, and you can see as it's beginning to shape up. Al Horford goes to the Celtics, you could really start looking at your top core of that Eastern Conference being the Cavs, the Pacers, the Raptors, and the Celtics, and God knows what's going to happen with the Knicks. I'll make the Knicks one quick so we don't harp on them too much either. Joakim Noah finally signed. We needed a center. I'm not sure how I would have felt about Dwight Howard coming to the Knicks. I know that they were on his radar. I think Joakim Noah, as long as he plays, that's like the biggest problem. The same thing. I mean, the lineup looks like Derrick Rose, Carmelo Anthony, Kristaps Porzingis, Joakim Noah, and potentially Eric Gordon. So, I mean, 3 of those guys, the backcourt in its entirety and Joakim Noah, they play 65 games. This season, the Knicks could absolutely make the playoffs. They should absolutely make the playoffs. I think it's really important that the Knicks get back to the playoffs. No more of this, let's go home after the regular season. It's New York City basketball. We've been a joke in the league for over 10 years. We absolutely, save for the 2011 season, we need to get back to our playoff waves at least. That would be fantastic. The biggest rumor that floated around my Twitter last night was the Dwayne Wade to the Knicks or the Bucks. I think both are pipe dreams. However, if Dwayne Wade were to come to the Knicks, I'd be ecstatic. Again, that would make Derrick Rose, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, Porzingis, Joakim Noah. That's a team that can compete for a top 5 seed in the Eastern Conference, barring injuries, barring health, and even making a run towards the second round of the playoffs. Until we would run into a Cavs or probably a Pacers, in which I would still give the edge to those teams, even with all those 2012 2011 top of their career All-Stars. All right, so let's move forward to one more I have for you is, well, Dellavedova also went to the Bucks. I don't think there's too much to talk about with that one. I think he got the actual, a rough, fair amount of money. He's got championship experience. He's a scrappy, dirty sometimes player. The Hawks in themselves already have Point Giannis, so they actually have one of the tallest point guards in the league, if not the tallest point guard in the league, and one of the shortest point guards in the league, which I find pretty funny. The Lakers signed Luol Deng. Luol Deng at least plays 2 ways. He's good on the defensive end. He is a veteran. I think the Lakers wanted to put more of a veteran presence onto that team. I don't think Timothy Mozgov was the type of guy that was what you give like a veteran status to in terms of leadership in a locker room. Luol Deng has been traveled. He's playing on a couple different teams, most recently with the Heat. 4 years, $72 million isn't that bad for Luol Deng. On top of all of it, again, this is a guy he shot 45.5% from the field last year. He's a 75.5% free throw shooter. From last season, he averaged 12.3 points, 6.0 rebounds, close to 2 assists. That's somebody who can stretch the floor. That's somebody who is still competent enough in the NBA after 12 years to make your team better. So I think the Luol Deng signing is actually a fair signing for the Lakers. I think they've done great with Luol Deng. I think they did great with Jordan Clarkson. I think they did not do so good with Timothy Mozgov. Considering, again, his real plus-minus is right there alongside Roy Hibbert, so they just paid more money for essentially the same player, and he was pretty useless last year, and the worst excuse Lakers fans gave all last season was, well, Roy Hibbert was better than what we had last year. No, actually he wasn't. He was exactly the same, if not worse. Timothy Mozgov should be better than Roy Hibbert, but not by much, so therefore you really got to find other ways to incorporate big men into that game, because the focal point, Julius Randle, D'Angelo Russell, Brandon Ingram, Jordan Clarkson, Luol Deng, you start to look at that team and you go, I don't know if we're competing for a top 6 seed, but that 8 seed, if Ingram clicks immediately with the offense, if Luke Walton gets his way quickly and making this a pass-first offense, fluidity, finding the open three-pointers, and really stretching the floor, sure, the Lakers can make the 8 seed. It's not the craziest prediction in the world. Alright, let me know your comments in the comment section below. Like, favorite, subscribe to this video, and follow me over on Twitter at JasonRubin91 if you want to see more pessimistic Knicks tweets, and make sure to check out at TYT Sports on Twitter as well.